Science Show. I'm your host, Frank Gooch, and today we have a bunch of wonderful guests. Aaron Rezny, photographer, and he brought his friend Hannah from Woodstocks Center for Photography. And you're going to catch us up on what's new. I understand you're having an event, and you're welcome to speak.
Okay, well, wonderful. Thank you for having us here.
You're always welcome.
Yes, we are having an event. It's going to be actually quite an event. It's triple event. It's a fundraiser for the Center for Photography in Woodstock. It's an introduction of Aaron's wonderful space at the.
Okay.
I'm sorry. It's an introduction of Aaron's wonderful space in Kingston, and then it is also an exhibition with work by the photographer Kenro Izo.
Wonderful. So that sounds like a lot going on. Aaron Rezny, welcome back.
Hello, Frank. Good to see you. Thanks for having me.
Good friend, Aaron Rezny.
Thanks for putting up with me.
Oh, you're welcome. And in the house we have Ian.
Hello.
And Violet. Hey, hi. Violet, how you doing? So the event is what day and time?
Okay. It is next weekend, Saturday, December 16th, 3 to 6.
3 to 6 on the 17th?
16th.
16th, okay.
16th.
All right. So we have a lot going on in Kingston, and this is a wonderful event. Mid-month, not the first Saturday. First Saturdays are like overly busy and crowded. So this would be like the big event.
This will be the big event.
The big event. And
very big.
Very big. So it'll be bigger now that people on radiokingston.org know about it, right? 1490 WKN was recently purchased by a group of people formerly affiliated with WDST in Woodstock, some of them, and it's now a nonprofit. So we're going to let you know we are sponsored, but we won't tell you by whom. No, we'll tell you later. But today we're going to have some eggnog from our neighbors at Boyce Brothers, if anybody wants to give it a whirl. And I've been studying water around the world, so we have water from around the world, and we'll talk about why we did that later. But the photography business is really amazing, and more of it happening here in Kingston lately, or in Ulster County. Film and TV and radio, and now photography.
Now photography, yes.
Well, what's happened here is in the last 3 years is just so exciting. You know, the film studio that's going on, all the other artists that are moving here, the energy, it's vibrant. You know, I was at the Made in Kingston at the Metro on Thursday night. And
right, you saw Riley's exhibit?
I did.
Uncle Riley.
They just did such a wonderful job, and the people are so excited and fascinated and full of energy and just excited to be here and be part of the community. What I'm excited about the collaboration with is, first of all, I'm really excited about launching the gallery part of my studio. Center Photography is just a wonderful organization and probably not known enough in Kingston like it should be.
That's right.
And it will be by the end of the day on Saturday. Howard, the founder, is a childhood friend of mine, and I'm really excited about working with him. And Kenru's work is just, I'm just beside myself that Kenru's actually showing in my space. Kenru's what we call a photographer's photographer. And his work is just so sensitive and beautiful, ethereal. He photographs a lot of spiritual places, and most of his work is platinum prints. And I think for a photographer of the level of Kenru to be showing in Kingston is just extraordinarily exciting.
Well, it's very exciting to have you two here, and I'm glad that you're able. And the Woodstock Center for Photography, the location was always like a bone of contention with me when it started. It took the best, the most popular music and food space off of Tinker Street, off the market, and I was always like grumbling about that. But now that you've done so well for so long, it's kind of redemptive. You know, makes me feel like it was worth giving up a local hotspot. And so now I feel like it's, you know, vindicated itself, and you're doing wonderful work.
Well, you know, it was a collaborative a neighbor experience for the longest time. We were upstairs in the building on the second floor.
Right,
and
right.
The cafe was downstairs. So yeah,
Right,
cafe
kind of
went away,
evolved
and we-
organically.
yeah. No,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. So
Right,
yeah,
so-
we've been in that space for 40 years. This is our 40th anniversary year.
Amazing.
So,
Seems like
yeah.
only yesterday. And I have somewhere the family photos of my son's mother wandering around the roof over the front seating area.
Yes, yes.
Of course,
Patio, yes.
in the nude, in Woodstock in the 1960s, that was the thing apparently.
Wow.
So that's very funny. Just and not much has changed. The building remains the same.
Building remains the same. It's over 200 years old. I swear, there's still all the ghosts of all these musicians who
Right,
came
played
and
there or
went,
lived
so
there, yeah.
lived
Yeah,
there, like
beautiful.
Bob Dylan lived
That's
there
right.
for a while. So,
That's right.
but yeah, so that's and then we show our photography, and it's actually surprising how separate and yet so close the Kingston and Woodstock art community are. I just juried an exhibition for Ask here in Kingston.
Okay.
They have
Art Society of Kingston. Yes.
Exactly, yes. And so this was a juried show, so everybody brought their work in. I picked what was to be in the show. That show is up right now still. And yet the photographers that were in that were a completely different selection than what I usually see in Woodstock. So it's really lovely with this event now that we are coming to Kingston. That we get to mix and mingle.
Wonderful.
So.
Well, I noticed a bit of an accent, and if I had to guess, I'd say it was German.
It is, yes.
Wie geht es Ihnen?
Sehr gut.
Sehr
Danke.
good. Welcome.
Hannah, could you tell us a little bit about, what the organization does and what the funding does? And I hate to do this, but someone's got to say it. Everybody's more than welcome, and the more the merrier, but it is a fundraiser.
Okay.
And we are looking for donations. We are looking for people to buy prints. We're looking, people to help the cause. And Hannah could tell us a little bit about it. And, just before I turn the mic over to her, what we were talking about before while we were in the green room, it's wonderful to encourage passion for anyone.
Mm-hmm.
And even if people don't pursue, photography their whole lives, but especially as like a young kid, high school, teenager, young adult, older adult, I found from my own experience, because I've been passionate about photography since I'm 12 years old, and so far it's turned out okay. But I love what I do, and I think if you develop an inherent passion for anything, that it carries through in any area of your life. Once you develop that passion.
Wonderful.
Oh, yeah.
Would you agree, Violet? Does that sound reasonable?
Yeah.
I think so. It
Yeah.
agrees.
He's speaking truth.
That's right. So this is wonderful, and thank you
Yeah.
both for your
But
time.
Hannah's
and
going to
coming
tell
in
us
and
where the
tell us about
donations
this.
will go and
All right.
what the cause is. And
Please
Okay,
do. Tell
Okay,
more.
Well, I mean, it really started with that passion with Howard Greenberg, starting the center, and we're still on that same mission or so to provide direct support to artists. We invite them to do residencies. We have incredible workspaces, darkroom, digital lab, and then, of course, our big outreach to the public is through our exhibitions. And it's Woodstock, tons of foot traffic. We open our doors to over 10,000 visitors per year, and get to talk about, again, what Aaron said, what we're passionate about photography, and it's like what we're doing, how we're doing it, and how people think about photography. And then we get to it's like share that photography. So,
Wonderful. Wonderful. And I'm hoping that you will do more events in Kingston, or we'll be invited to come up and see your space in Woodstock.
in both directions. Aaron has such a wonderful space here that he's renovated and with a beautiful gallery, and so we get to come more often, we hope.
anytime you want.
Wonderful.
So,
Well, we're going to take a little musical break. Thanks to Warren Lawrence, we get to listen to Italian music, and we're going to have a little snack, and then we'll open up some water. Help yourselves to the food. All right?
thank you.
And we're going to
Okay.
keep filming, so we get to
Uh-oh.
just hang out. And grab some brie cheese. We have the Avion water. My sister in Paris helped pay for this, right? We have the Saratoga water from New York, or Italian water. And Fiji was my mother's favorite water.
Yeah, let's
Fiji
give you guys your own mics because you can't.
All right.
Nobody hears
Yeah.
you. You
All
have to
right.
stay-
Really?
you
I'm
have to
sorry.
stay in
Well,
front of the mic.
we'll hear you on
You have to
YouTube.
talk right in front of the mic now.
Okay.
All right.
All that
Not over
babbling
there.
and no one heard me?
No,
No,
we
you
we
can't
heard
hear
you.
It's very
You're
loud.
going to be live,
You got to be right in front of the
on
mic.
film.
Step off to the side.
so we pick you up on
I'm always in
the
trouble.
phone. Not yet. So where in Germany?
Stuttgart,
Stuttgart.
where
My
the Mercedes and where the Porsches are from.
wonderful. My
I just
Wow.
bought a Mercedes.
mother's family and my mother's side of the family from Frankfurt and the Black Forest, Tutmos.
Mhm.
And so it's interesting. My great-grandfather was involved in photography, and he helped do things like discover filters for making the clouds more three-dimensional and stuff like
No
that.
kidding.
That's about 100 years ago. Yeah, he would have been like in the 1800s.
Was his name Red?
Not red, no.
That's what you use a red filter for.
Yeah, no, he discovered a lot of that, and he used to make the big glass negatives, so we had a lot of that stuff way back when. We still have family, heirlooms of photography stuff. So we'll have to investigate and tell you more about that.
What company did he work for? Do you know?
He was his own person, and that side of the family invented technology. They did the most famous stuff they did were drill bit chucks and Bunsen burners, but they invented processes to make the color picture tube for television. And they also invented milking machines for the dairy industry. So a lot of cool stuff. A lot of machinists. Everybody on that side of the family were machinists. But the photography was my great-grandfather.
Wow.
My grandfather's father. So he would have been probably active in that industry until the Second World War. Or
You chose a different
thereabouts.
direction.
Yeah, well, I did photography. I'm all black and white photography. I couldn't afford color. So I did black and white.
You know, getting back to the donations, that's the unfortunate part about photography. And
Expensive.
kids need money. I'm on the board of, I went to the High School of Art and Design in Manhattan. I was
Right.
very fortunate. It was a specialized, art high school. And I'm on the board of advisors. And the principal, the assistant principal said to me, I was in her office, and frankly, I still shake when I'm in the principal's office.
Nice.
And she says, Aaron, I don't know what to do. She says, I got all these kids. The parents call me. They don't have money for a camera. And, what should I do for them? And I said that it's just too difficult a profession to choose
Right.
if you don't have the funding for cameras or computers. And, it's unfortunate, but it's kind of realistic.
Right. And cameras and lenses are really still very expensive. They haven't come down, they've gone up.
Are they starting off
quality.
at 35 millimeter in high school still?
Mm,
I
I did
just
110.
met the woman who runs I forgot her name, but she's the head of the photography department for Kingston High School. And with that big renovation that they just did,
Right.
$130 million, she fought tooth and nail to keep the black and white darkrooms, and she won.
nice. Good
And
for
I
her.
think it's just absolutely, spectacular. I'm gonna
That's
see
the
if
only
Hannah
kind I
wants
could
to-
do. So if I go back as an alumni.
Okay. Maybe you can get your degree.
Yeah, that would be fun. Get my degree in photography, thanks to all my friends in the biz.
There's always a room for you at my studio, Frank.
Thank you very much.
And I
You're
have
too
an old
kind.
camera that you can...
All right, I can borrow the old camera.
Absolutely. I had a whole kit.
Well, in a way, digital photography's made it easier to
All right.
become a photographer at entry level because you don't have to pay for the film, you don't have to pay for
We're
the
back
processing.
on the air. And we're on the air with Hannah and Aaron, and we're doing photography today. We're talking about photography and fundraising events upcoming on December 16th, which is a Saturday.
It's a Saturday.
What time?
It starts at 3 o'clock.
3 o'clock in the afternoon, and
And-
that's right here on Prince Street.
I know, so close, 76 Prince Street, and which is Aaron Rezny's studio. And it's going to be an exhibition, an opening. We're going to have a raffle, and then
There you go. Good for you.
yes, and the raffle, and then we'll have a print sale. And this is a gift really from Kenro Izu to the center to make this special edition available. And and each print is a crazy low price of $150
Right,
per
for
image.
one
for
of
that
his
event.
images would have
Yes.
been much more ordinarily.
Oh, significantly, yes.
Mhm.
So we have 100 prints to sell, so come early enough so you might be able to get one. So,
Wonderful. That's excellent. And other shows in the area? You're doing shows in Woodstock.
in Woodstock, yes, we have the Photography Now exhibition up, which is a big call for entry exhibition once a year. That's up through January. And then I have the exhibition here that I mentioned earlier at Ask in Kingston, which is a photography only exhibition also.
Right, that's
I have
downtown.
my-
Ask
yeah.
is the Art Society of Kingston. So people want to
Yeah.
know more, they can go online to find out about that.
Yeah.
Hannah, maybe you want to tell the folks a little bit about what Kenry does with his extra finances and his spare time.
Oh my goodness.
He
I
actually
don't-
has spare time.
You know, some photographers do. So he's been traveling through all these incredible places worldwide, Europe and especially Asia, and photographing these ancient ruins, just beautiful, beautiful. And then in Cambodia, right? He came across these kids that had no access to any medical facilities. And you know, sometimes, yeah, we photographers, we roll up our sleeves and get busy. And so he called all of his friends, asked for donations, and raised money to start clinics
Nice.
to provide free health care. So
In
that was
Cambodia.
yes, so
Amazing.
very exciting, very
Great man.
That's great.
You know, deep soul. So,
And you're able to take photographs, of course. That's like the part of the connection. To create an experience where people would never have heard about these folks or
yeah.
known anything. This is
Right.
wonderful.
No, absolutely.
Creating
So,
like a lifeline.
yeah,
Beautiful.
exactly, and also making us feel part of something that's happening so far away from
Mhm.
us. So we get to contribute.
I mean, so the world
So-
becomes smaller and smaller, just like the
Yes.
studio. We've had as many as
Uh-uh.
15 people in the studio,
Wow.
and we usually have to, at that point, start sitting on each other's laps, but lots of extra chairs, and it's fun.
Wow.
And of course, you're always welcome to come back and talk to us about events and photography, and we'll learn more Saturday, the 16th, starting at 3 p.m.,
Yes.
76 Prince Street.
Hannah didn't mention, but you know, I'll mention it. There's also an artist talk for people who can't make it on the 16th on January 14th. Howard Greenberg, the founder of CPW and the owner of the Howard Greenberg Gallery in Manhattan, is going to actually, who represents Kenru, is going to have an artist talk, and they're going to talk about his work and his history and his pictures. And I'm looking forward to that myself.
Good. So this is like just the beginning, the
Right.
tip of the iceberg. One of the first events at the studio.
Yes.
That's of this kind, probably the first fundraiser.
It's going to be big.
It's going to be big. It is big, and it's a wonderful thing that you're willing to extend yourselves. So you take your time and energy around the holidays. It's a busy time of year, but it's also giving back, right? And giving back to the photography community. So any funds raised will be helping young budding photographers.
Yes, and we're very, very lucky that a lot of stores and businesses in Kingston as well as in Woodstock have donated to our raffle. So that's
Lots of good
Yeah.
stuff.
So we're raising money for the center, but a lot of people will be going home with some great gifts for themselves.
Wonderful. So this is, have you talked about it on DST or other local stations? You might want to reach out a little bit since time is of the essence, right?
Yes, yes, we should.
Radio is a very quick, proactive way of reaching your audience. Unlike our newspapers locally, we normally have Mike from the Lincoln Eagle, and that comes out about once a month. So, you know, you'd have to be 7-week lead time to get in print
Well,
media,
the
like
Daily
Chronogram.
Freeman's coming to my studio on Wednesday. And
Nice.
Talk to me and Hannah and take some pictures. And
Good.
Talk about Kenru. It's interesting. Tanya, the photographer from the Daily Freeman, I actually met her at a party last night, and she says, "Aaron, I can't believe that Kenru Zoo's having a show in Kingston."
Nice.
She says, "I'm beside myself, ecstatic."
Right, and she knows. Tanya herself is a prolific photographer, and she has been. She does outside of the Freeman. She's a great photographer, Tanya Bariclo. I've known her. Her kids went to school with my kids, so I've known her for about 20 years. Good
I
people.
think and I could speak for myself, I think that photographers that have actually been able to succeed and make a living and spend their lives taking pictures feel so grateful and so blessed that they're all happy to give back and help younger people. And as like in any career, you want to give back because people help you get there.
That's right, and it's a part of you. And photography it becomes part of you. You're extending yourself. You're committing yourself to paper. You become part of the work.
And then
Yeah,
you
so-
let the work go.
Right, and
have
in
to-
order to
Yes.
then, how much did you destroy to get to that point? Like you wouldn't, ugh, how many pictures I took and they all wound up in the trash, and then especially back in the olden days where you didn't know what it looked like until you printed it. Now you have digital media.
Instant.
Well, that's one of the beauties of photography because it's always a little like opening up a present.
Mm-hmm.
Even with the iPhone or any kind of digital camera, when you see it, it's just magical. Especially if it's beautiful and you captured something that you felt and didn't actually see. And I think that any great photographer artist works on intuition and not so much what they see, but kind of like, I feel a picture.
Mm-hmm. Isn't that weird? It's like a seventh sense.
Yeah.
It's a really cool thing, and I only had that happen a few times since film was very expensive. I used the 110 land cameras, and I even made my own box cameras, out of wood
Frank,
or
it's not
cardboard.
too late. I think I could get you a good place and a good price at taking a course at the Center of Photography.
Nice, that's wonderful.
Yeah. It's actually surprising how many people are still doing black and white photography
Mhm.
with film in the darkroom. So that's been a very nice surprise to me since coming to the center 2 years ago, is that our black and white lab gets a lot of use. There's somebody there almost, not quite every day, but at very least every other day, and it's incredible to see.
Wonderful.
So
Well,
it's-
my first camera cost 10 cents.
Wow.
I bought a Brownie little box camera at the United Methodist Church in Shandaken, which is they call Little Woodstock. It was just past Woodstock, the next town up, and that was back in the 1960s. So I started playing with that, and then since then,
Wow.
it's been all downhill. But it was a lot of fun, and my brother-in-law is big on. He used to be Nikon, and now he has the Zeiss lenses and all the crazy stuff that goes with that. But a very expensive hobby indeed.
Yeah.
And so you'll be there doing. You're showing some of your own work now
No,
at
not
the
this time.
center
No,
or at
not
ASK,
this
Art
time.
Society of Kingston.
Neither, actually.
Oh.
I got to pick the artwork that's hanging here in Kingston. I got to facilitate and our program manager Jan Nagel worked with the outside juror Bill Ewing, and he picked the artwork that's at our center in Woodstock right now. And then I did get to pick the work by Kenro Izu that's up at Aaron's place.
Right.
So,
How much
yes.
of a job was that?
It's not a job, hardly. It's really a wonderful thing. You get presented with dozens or sometimes hundreds of photographs, and you get to curate a show from that. And it's a real pleasure. It's
Nice.
really a wonderful thing. So it's hard to measure. It's like, for example, when I curate exhibitions that are themed or so, it's often work that I've looked at over the years. So how long did that take? If I started from scratch, well, it would take a long time. But I've been talking to artists for a couple of 20 years.
That's cute.
So and you get to pick and choose from all of that. So
Nice. Well, I'm glad that you were able to take the time out and let us know. And for people who are interested in becoming members or learning more about the Center for Photography, they can go online.
website at cpw.org is the best place to go. And but the next best place is Aaron Rezny's place.
There
next
you
weekend.
go. Aaron Rezny.
Did we mention it's a
76th
fundraiser?
Street, yes. Well, fundraisers are ongoing, right?
Yes.
This could be
Yeah.
any day people find themselves moved to contribute to the arts and photography in particular. They can stop by the center
Yes, contribute and participate.
on Tinker Street,
Yeah.
right next to the Tannery Brook,
Yes, exactly.
across the street from the Guild of Craftsmen, kind of diagonally.
Maybe something else that we should mention is that you can also see the exhibition here in Kingston outside of the fundraiser, but because it's also Aaron's workplace for his photo shooting studio, so it's either by appointment, so you'd have to call the studio, or on the following weekends. So it's every weekend in January that it's all open also.
Wonderful. All right. So if you're not available, you can still see the work, and you can always make contributions online or
Absolutely.
in person. You
Yes.
can drop a check in the mail if you're feeling like a holiday spirit working in you.
Right.
But the best way is to
Exactly.
just make an appointment, stop by, see the work, and
Or come on one
December
of the
16th,
weekends.
3 o'clock, Saturday. Be
Right.
there. Aaron's wonderful to open up his studio. Your space is almost sacred. It's kind of in a personal space. And you come in there and you're talking about a life's work in one room.
Well, I'm excited about it, and my intention in building this was to turn it into a gallery. Hope to collaborate with the Center of Photography, and be able to bring organizations that I support to have events there, and also to bring work that I like, that I admire, and Kenru's a wonderful start.
He's right up there, right? So you're not nothing to be ashamed of having the association with the high quality work.
Right.
It certainly won't hurt.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that you're doing it. I'm looking forward to it. So 3 o'clock. I have to clear my schedule Saturday, this December 16th, this coming Saturday.
Yes.
Before you know it,
Frank,
be
you've
here
been a
before
big
you know it.
friend to my studio, and we all appreciate it.
Well, thank you. And the Center for Photography in Woodstock is open every day?
Is open for as a gallery Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, noon to 5, but otherwise by appointment. If we're there, which we're there Monday through Friday, 10 to 5, just ring the doorbell and we'll let you in.
Wonderful. Wonderful. I look forward to have to come up there and check it out. I haven't been in quite a while.
Oh, please
And
come. Yes.
I'm always there normally for the Santa landing on the village green, or arriving,
Yes, yes.
and it's remains to be seen how that will happen this year. So we're going to take another little musical break. Thanks to Warren Lawrence. We're going to eat a little more. Maybe we'll get some of this Boyce Brothers eggnog. We have tiny little cups. Be right back.
Okay.
That's fun.
I went into your photography center and I wanted to do an exhibition myself because I was a crime scene cleaner. I take photographs of everything.
Well,
But what I wanted to tell you was, everybody was really nice there, and they gave me somebody's number to get in contact with. It was probably yours, but yeah,
Yes,
you guys are
yes.
awesome over there.
oh, thank you,
Yeah,
thank you.
So I hope you don't mind music.
Not at all.
Anybody want to try some of our water or some Kingston made with real eggs eggnog? And that's why it's ironic they make almost no money on this, because they are not willing to bend. They want to use real ingredients. So Boyce Brothers, over 100 years in business, using real eggs to make their wonderful seasonal beverage.
Forgive my naivety, but what else would you make eggnog with?
Well, that's the sad part. Most of them don't use real eggs when they manufacture this type of product. So it's over $500 for like a 5-gallon container of eggs, egg yolks. They most companies have found ways around that, like yellow stuff, food coloring or whatever. So you're welcome to give it a taste. You have little tiny cups. And I got it specifically because it's only available for a few weeks during December
Wow.
every year. So,
I'm gonna stick with my coffee.
all right,
No
the coffee.
offense.
Thank
No
you
offense to
for the
Boyce
coffee.
Brothers.
This is from Broadway Lights Diner.
I love Broadway Lights.
Broadway Lights Diner, also there for about 40 years, something on that order,
Only
39
place
years.
Practically in Ulster County that's open on Christmas Day. And for us Jewish people, that's important.
Yes, very important. Got to have a place to eat. Well, thank you for coming, and want to have you back anytime you feel like it. We have an open door policy. The door's open, you just walk in like you own the place. Sundays from 1 to 2, and take some healthy snacks home.
That's good.
You know, the water, we're going to probably save some for the next time or send you home with it, but, you know, we still have 20 minutes. Are there things about the center you want to go in more detail? Or you want to talk more about your history? Talk about your connection with Aaron? How did you two meet? And, you know, the photography business, you know, how it's been treating you, where you went to school, anything like that? You know, it's up to you.
Maybe not that part, but
You know.
I had fun, but it just,
Yeah.
but no, we can talk more about the center. It has such, amazing history.
Yeah, and it's getting better every day.
It is.
Thanks to people like yourselves.
Well, it's people are amazingly generous always to us.
Yeah. Well, you know, you're putting out good positive energy, so it comes back 10 times. If you didn't do it, imagine it could go downhill overnight.
Yeah.
So you're carrying the ball and you're doing it well, or the torch.
The torch.
The
Yes,
torch.
yes. That is, no, we. I don't know if we had heard about this, but we bought an artist house this year, and it was one of those things. It was an absolute miracle because you know we're always fundraising. We never have quite enough money for all the things that we
Right.
have in our head.
Yeah. Big ideas. Yeah.
Yeah, and so we got a phone call from a family whom we had rented a house from before, and the house was becoming available, and they offered to work with us. But were we interested?
Nice.
And you know, the head would have said.
No.
We'd have to pull this together, like all the strategic planning, all the fundraising, no way. And instead the heart said, absolutely we want this
Yeah,
house.
you
And,
go for it.
and you know, it's like we become a calling for opportunity, and two foundations, and Howard Greenberg supported us in a big way, and
Nice.
then we did a open call for donations, an open request, and over 100 people made it possible for us to buy this house.
There you go. That's how it works.
You know, it's just really amazing.
The law of
So-
large numbers. I love it. And the fact that it was a kind of an important little step.
Oh, it's huge. It's you have to understand, this is a residency program that has run for 18 years. And
Wonderful.
we, you know,
Welcome back to the Italian Show. We're in the studio here, WKNY, KingstonRadio.org. And we're visiting with Hannah and Aaron and talking about the Center for Photography, and something really kind of cool and miraculous happened recently. Just discussing you were able to buy an artist house. It was photographer or
No,
a
it-
Woodstock artist?
a privately owned house right in Woodstock, in walking distance to the photo center. And we have a residency program for which we invite artists to come for a month, or so 4 to 6 weeks, to come to Woodstock and to make art. And we always rent a house. So for 18
Nice.
years we've always rented a house.
And now you
this-
finally can say you own a house.
We own a house. It's year-round, and it's this incredible building. Used to belong to the local painter Henry Matson.
Wonderful.
So, you know, open studio, north-facing light. It makes every photographer, certainly any
Really
artist,
happy.
like, yeah,
And
very, very happy.
I'm going to hand Violet some water in case you want it. We have water and we have eggnog. And tell us about the house. Is it something that you've always wanted this house?